Scott Barrett has once again made some notable changes to his All Blacks team to take on the Wallabies in the last round of the Rugby Championship. It's a do-or-die game for them. They are still in the running to win the Rugby Championship. Some of these changes forced, but some not. Very exciting nonetheless. Most notably, Tamati Williams comes in at prop. Scott Barrett back in at lock as captain. Peter Lackey starting at 8. You've got Damon McKenzie coming at 10. Lester Fainga'anuku on the wing, number 11. Quintu Paez come in at 13. Will Jordan will play his 50th game. Rieko Ioane is back in the team on the bench. Very, very exciting squad. And with it being I won't say do or die, but it's a game the All Blacks will want to win, of course. No one goes into a game not wanting to win, but they need to win if they stand any chance of winning the Rugby Championship this year. They're 1 point at the moment behind the Springboks, who sit on top at 15. Obviously, if Springboks win the game against Los Pumas by any margin, they win the Rugby Championship. But as we know, throughout this Rugby Championship, it's week to week, right? Results have changed week on week. Yes, the Springboks probably been the first team that's been consistent, winning the first back-to-back games in the Rugby Championship this year, but it could all change again. So All Blacks will be going into this one, I won't say with their tails up, but confident, obviously confidence going into it, but wanting to win massively first. That'll be the goal for them first up. So let's run through it. We'll chat a bit about it. As always, All Blacks fans, non-All Blacks fans, what changes do you like? What would you have liked to see in the team? What do you think of this team? Let me know in the comments. Hit the subscribe if you haven't already. Let's get into it. So up front, Tamati Williams, Fletcher Newell, Cody Taylor. So they've gone with the all Crusaders front row. I called that. I wanted that last week already. I think it will help the scrumming. They struggled versus South Africa, and against Wallabies it's a bit up and down, but you talk about cohesion and guys knowing each other and bonds they've built in the front row in the dark arts. It's a Crusaders front row that's just off the back of winning the Super Rugby. So those guys will be locked and loaded together, wanting to win their own ball, but then putting pressure on the Wallabies as well. On the bench, you've got Tokiaho, George Bauer, and Posilio Tosi. Also, George Bauer and Posilio Tosi getting opportunity here. They haven't had any or much. I don't think have they played a Rugby Championship game this year? Not too sure, but very excited to see what they can do off the bench as well. It's a strong front row bench, that for sure. Then the locks, Scott Barrett, Tupou Vaa'i. So Fabian Holland dropped out of the matchday 23. Patrick Tuipulotu is on the bench. Scott Barrett comes back in, had the shoulder niggle last week that I got wrong. I thought he was just dropped. It was a very timely injury, but he didn't play last week. He's back in here this week, and he's got the captain's armband again. Gutted for Fabian Holland. I thought he was all right, but Tupou Vaa'i been outstanding, really good there, so deserves to keep his spot. And Patrick Tuipulotu, coming off the bench, did really well in that game last week, so it makes sense why he's there. Back row, Simon Parker, Ardie Savia, Peter Lackey. Peter Lackey getting the jump at 8. Wallace Atiti drops to the bench. Maybe just a rotation, maybe also just a bit of, let's see what Lackey can do when he starts, and let's see what Satiti does when he comes off the bench. Because we all know now how rugby has changed, how important your bench is and how important it is at a certain part of the game to bring energy onto the field. And you want that from your bench. You look at someone like Kwagga Smith for the Springboks. Bench is his best position. Let's be honest. He's the dynamic of how he plays and the energy he brings on later in the game. It goes without saying, and it's second to none, let's be honest. And we've seen when he starts games, probably not the best. So I'm not comparing him to Lackey or Satiti at all, but it's maybe just Razor kind of figuring out that dynamic. I thought that back row originally worked really well in Parker, Savia, and Satiti, but they may be just changing up to see what other outcomes we can get. So big ups for Lackey to get the starting jump at 8. I'm still question marking what happened to Christian Leoili. I thought he was unreal in the French tests, brought another dynamic with line-out options at line-out time. He was really good there. So I wonder how he just got axed out of the whole squad entirely. Very interesting one, that. And he's a Crusaders boy. Is he? Yeah. At Super, he is, yes. 9 and 10. So Cam Roy got 9. Damien McKenzie 10. Obviously, forced change in Beauden Barrett having the shoulder injury, I think it was. So D-Mac comes in. Ruben Love on the bench. I hope he gets minutes at 10. Please, Razor, if you're watching, if you're listening, get Ruben Love on for the last 20 minutes at 10. Please, I hope there's no injuries otherwhere or other positions so that Ruben Love has to kind of plug a hole there. I hope. But they've spread the bench so that he is definitely, I think, going to get an opportunity at 10. Because you look at, let's say, a centre gets injured, Rico Ioane comes on. Let's say a wing gets injured, Rico Ioane comes on. Fullback gets injured, you could move D-Mac to fullback and put Ruben Love on at 10. Or just Ruben Love straight to fullback. You know what I'm saying? Get Ruben Love on at 10 for a couple of minutes. Surely he does that. So I love that dynamic. Then the change up in the centres. So Jordie Barrett keeps his spot. Kuntu Paya comes in at 13. I think his main position is 12. But the impact he brought in last week's game off the bench, unreal. So get him a starting spot. Billy Proctor falls out of the match day 23. Rico Ioane comes in. He's deserved this. Kuntu Paya has a starting spot for sure. Would like to see him at 12. I think that's more his position. He definitely, like Suali'i and Len Ikitau, are going to test Tupaia, I think, laterally on defense because he's a bigger body. Yes, he's fast and dynamic, but as 13, you want to be able to move laterally very quickly because of how difficult it is to defend there. So that's something they'll look to try and exploit. I'm not saying that's an area that Tupaia lacks in. It's just something they can probably look to try and exploit. And it will depend on how well he communicates with guys inside and outside him, how Jordie Barrett pushes him out or holds him, how he works well with his wing on defense. But I think attacking-wise, scary scenes. And then you've got out the back, you've got Lester Fainga'anuku, Leroy Carter, and Will Jordan. You've got those guys running onto the ball. Man, it's D-Mac at the line, Jordie Barrett, Kuntu Paya. Out the back, you've got Lester Fainga'anuku, then Will Jordan, and then Leroy Carter. That running at the line, there's some scary threats there. Their biggest problem solve that they need to resolve quickly is finding out ways to link up because they've got threats throughout the back line. They just need to find ways to link up. Last week, beat 39 defenders and only won the game by 9 points. You beating 39 defenders, you want to be putting 60 points on the team. For sure. And it's something that the All Blacks team has definitely lacked over the past couple of games is just that bit of chemistry in the back line. Just that little bit of timing is off, just the pass not going to hand. It worked. Like there's a couple of tries on the weekend that passed that worked out nice. Jordie Barrett taking a half break, giving an offload. Cam Roy got finishing it off. Stuff like that. And then Caleb Clark's try was a lovely little backline move. Will Jordan got the overlap there, drawn pass, and he went to score in the corner. Few things in it slowly starting to work, and things don't happen overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day. But with a star-studded backline like this All Blacks team has put out here, you'd want them to click, man. And scary scenes for opposition if they do click, because it's a very exciting backline. And you hope it works out for him. You hope it works out for him. Because again, Razor has, I won't say gone out on a limb, but he's made the changes. He's made the changes where it makes sense. He's given guys opportunity. He obviously has all the data and analytics around who's played this, how many minutes, how the body's holding up, how can we change or rotate our squad around to have guys play minutes and get opportunity to play. And it's a good little rotation of the squad, this team named, I think. Exciting times. Exciting times. It's the last game of the Rugby Championship. It is exciting, though, because this is a very exciting squad named or team named to play. They have to go out there and win. They have to win big. And I think they can do it. Perth or Wallabies in Perth, it'll be a different ball game. Wallabies will be coming out firing. They are like, if everything falls into their plan, Wallabies go out and win by 50 points. They could potentially win the Rugby Championship as well. And they would want to finish their campaign on a high. Wallabies will. So they'll be coming out firing. It's going to be a big one. I'm going to go, hoping this All Blacks backline just clicks. I'm going to go All Blacks to win by 12. All Blacks to win by 12. But man, like I said, the Rugby Championship this year has been week to week. Or Wallabies could just turn around and just smoke them. And you wouldn't be surprised about it. All Blacks fans, what do you guys think of this? How do you see this game playing out? Let me know in the comments. Hit that subscribe if you haven't already. See you next time. Bye.